Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, May 21st. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. Also, if you are trading Bitcoin, then I will do a bonus analysis at the end. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick you see right there will still be moving around. That's because the market's open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one, FFIE. The big movement continues, although things have slowed down here a little bit from a volume standpoint, but still really good, solid volume. And once again, it's all about perspective. I said once again because I talked about this on Friday, but that remains the case. So what do I mean? Well, if you're some sort of day trader, scalper, flipper, and you bought right there, or you bought right there, and you're looking to buy and sell within 7 minutes after buying, well, then from that standpoint, the chart's not looking very good. But big picture point of view, and I'm not saying this will occur, but just for example's sake, let's say the price actually drops even more from where it was today and goes down to right there at 90 cents. Once again, not saying, let me change that to green to represent support, but let's say that's what occurs. What would you have? Emphasis on big picture. So if the price came down here, behave like that, what do you have big picture standpoint? Well, big picture standpoint, you'd have a set of lows right here, you'd have lows right there, you'd have lows down here, you'd have lows even down there, and if you envision each of those as stair steps, what do you have from the big picture point of view? Well, you'd still have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction, and that's the name of the game. You want to see progress being made, and overall, as long as you have these stair steps in the upwards direction, that does represent progress. Again, just to reiterate, I fully am aware that if you're a scalper and you bought right there or you bought right there, you don't care about these stair steps. So that's why I'm trying to distinguish between more of a scalper, day trader, and someone that cares about the bigger picture point of view. So sure, the price gapped up, sure, the price pulled back from the gap up. However, as you see here from the big picture point of view, still plenty of opportunity to build a higher base. Next one, CRKN. This will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched the video on Friday because a couple of areas that I mapped out perfectly played out how you'd expect them to. First level I mapped out in Friday's video was right there at 0.283 as an area of resistance, and you just can't make this stuff up. I mean, I'm not patting myself on the back. I am patting charts on the back, though. They are a very valuable tool that I would argue all traders should be using and understanding. So I put that line in there, and if you don't believe me, I'm not offended. Just go back and watch Friday's video, and you'll see I put that line in there. And look right where it got rejected this morning, right at that area of resistance. And then it got rejected and came back down. And again, you can't make this stuff up. Look right where it bounced from today, right there at essentially the 15-cent mark. So from that angle, nothing has really happened today. Now, of course, yes, it gapped up, it came down, but from a bigger picture standpoint, the price is still trapped between these two levels. So that's really kind of the big question moving forward is how long does this sideways action last for? Is this thing just going to chop, back and forth between these levels? Now, from a trading standpoint, that's a big range. You could definitely make some good money trading it. But from an overall kind of more so bigger picture standpoint, yeah, it might get annoying when this thing just chops back and forth, back and forth. But as of now, those two levels that I talked about still 100% pertain. 0.283 key area of resistance, and then 15 cents key area of support. Next one, MMV. Nice technical pattern here, so let's just get this drawn into play. So we have the first part of the pattern right here, this area of resistance, and then at the same time, we have this area of support. So let me change that to green, and then maybe to help make the pattern easier to see, let's keep it one color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big upwards move today. And if you golfers try to make it a little bit more visual, put the golf hole down here, this would be a bull pennant pattern. So while there are no guarantees, it is more than valid to think that if the price can come up here, get a break up through that level, that break in of itself, even if you just want to call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, but a break of that level right there could indeed generate more upside buying pressure. So if you like stocks down below $5 range, you like bull pennants, definitely keep an eye on this one. Next one, GWAV, and a good day today from a technical point of view. What do I mean by that? Well, the price has finally broken up through that level, and while it hasn't exploded up through it, it's gotten up through it. So that's reason number one. That technical line of resistance has been broken, so I'm going to get rid of that. And then even more so is the price is doing a fantastic job of maintaining above the levels of support you would want to see it maintain above. And again, for those of you that have watched past videos, you know what I'm talking about already. The first level that you want to see the price stay above, and it's done a fantastic job, is that purple line there, 50-period moving average. So yes, today it gapped up. Yes, it pulled back, but by no means did the pullback. I mean, technically, the pullback didn't even test the 50-period moving average because it stayed nicely above it. Even right here, there's still a little bit of space up above it. But Point here being is the price is not only respecting that level, it's staying nicely above it, but even if the price were to drop below there, you still have this overall trend line that I put into play, and that level hasn't even come close to being tested. So yes, maybe today from just an intraday standpoint, micro perspective, annoying because again, it gapped up and then came right back down. But taking a step back, looking at things from the bigger picture point of view, price is doing a fantastic job of maintaining those areas of support, which is by far what matters most. Next one, GTBP, and I'm going to go through this one a little quicker because you've already seen this pattern. So just get this drawn into play. We have our area of resistance. We have our area of support. And just because I can't help myself, let's just keep it the same color. So resistance, support, nice move up. Golf hole down here. We have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. I'd say the biggest difference here is this one's a little bit higher priced, nothing crazy. But if you like stocks more so above the $5 range and you like the bull pennants, that will definitely meet that criteria. So yeah, if you like bull pennants, certainly keep an eye on it. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering later on in the week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free webinar. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can use, or if you're watching at my website, there's an area right there on the page you can use to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live webinar. Next one, BRSH, and overall started off absolutely fantastic, huge explosion. And then it did pull back quite a bit. But within the pullback, as I just talked about on the previous one, doing a good job of maintaining that 50-period moving average. And you can see back on Friday, bounce off it today. So yes, from a big picture, from a day trading standpoint, and if you're a scalper that bought up right here, chart's looking really bad for you because it did pull back quite a bit. But from the big picture point of view, everything is still fine because you still have the price up above that 50-period moving average. And that's what you want to see continue to hold strong moving forward. If there is going to be any sort of attempted movement back upwards, and more the near term, I think the key area of resistance to fight through right there at the 22-cent mark. So a high volume break of 22 cents, of course, no guarantees, but I think gives it a very realistic chance to get up to those highs right there and potentially even push up through them. But again, it can't just be any old break at 22 cents. I would want to see a high volume break of that level. But like I said, depending on how you view it, from the big picture standpoint, everything is still healthy. Next one, TSLA Tesla, and overall rough day as this opening 30-minute candle right here came down, broke through that area of support. So that's where the first update comes into play. And this is just based on a rule in charting that states when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So that'll be the key battleground now where if this thing, to be fair, at least it leveled out and basically went sideways all day long. But if this is going to get some upwards movement, then yeah, public enemy number one now in the very near term, right there at 175.50. So keep an eye on that from resistance. And then to coincide with it, you also have that purple line there, 50-period moving average, which you can see here has been pretty annoying and acting as a resistance already. And given they're so close to one another, it's kind of like a double whammy of resistance. Doesn't mean it can't be broken. Just saying that it's going to require some power on the bull's part. In terms of the next key area of support to watch moving forward, I would definitely consider that right down there at the 173 mark. So got somewhat close today, but never quite hit it. But if the price were to come down there and break through there, in my mind, that's gonna bring in another round of bearish momentum and potentially drive it down to these lows down around that level. But we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves because as of now, it's just consolidating sideways. So we'll see what Tuesday has to offer. Next one, NBY, and overall, I think there's a whole lot of idea of a self-fulfilling prophecy on this. On this one. Why do I say that? Well, because most people are going to grab the right tool. There we go, the trend line, and draw something very, very similar to that. That is by no means me bragging or saying that this is some sort of great discovery. You got to think a lot of people are going to draw something very similar. And when you have a whole lot of eyeballs watching the same thing, wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. It can produce some very dynamic movements. So if the price were to come up here and break up through there, more than plausible in my opinion that break in and of itself could create a whole nother round of bullish upwards buying pressure. So keep an eye on that. And then from the big picture point of view, you're going to notice a common theme. But once again, we have one of these that's doing a fantastic job of honoring that 50-period moving average, which came down here, bounced off of it. So as long as the price does stay above that purple line, then big picture point of view, everything is still perfectly fine. Next one, AMC, and this is exactly why I like to do these when the market is still open, because check it out. As I speak, big volume right here, last 30 minutes, big green candle. So that really adds a whole lot of spiciness as we head into Tuesday, because now it becomes a very valid question, which this question did not exist until this last 30 minutes. But because of this last 30 minutes, we get to ask the question, hey, is this action the start of something even bigger? Now think about that question. If nothing worthwhile was happening, it'd make no sense to ask that question. But because something is happening, it makes sense to ask the question. Now, to be fair, maybe not. Maybe this thing just rolls right back over. Totally possible. But that is a two-sided coin because it would mean maybe it is the start of something bigger, and this inning's getting ready to rock and roll, in the coming days. So like I said, it's really as simple as that, and that's what a watch is all about, finding those unique, finding interesting situations, and not rushing out and randomly buying stuff, but watching it. So if you find this sort of situation, interesting, which I do, AMC can move very quickly. So last 30 minutes, volume surge, big green candle. Is this the start of something bigger? Let's see what happens. Next one, TQQQ. Overall, good solid day today as it pulled back a little bit, but still much higher than where it was. Good, strong opening 30 minutes right there. So update number one is just when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. And that's essentially what's going on right now. You can see the price broke above it and then spent almost all day kind of just chopping right around that area. Some days you can see, some periods right there, you can see the price essentially bounced right off it, including this afternoon. So that's good in and of itself. That 64 is holding. Now let me be very clear. If it doesn't hold, not the end of the world or anything like that. You still have the 50-period moving average, and then just to add in even more context, from the big picture point of view, you still have plenty of opportunity for this thing to continue to build those higher bases. But yeah, in terms of what would make the chart look the absolute strongest, certainly staying above the $64 mark. And then in terms of areas of resistance, again, one of those self-fulfilling prophecy type situations, because I assure you a lot of people have drawn that trend line right there. Very basic, but that's why I love the basic ones, because the basic ones bring about those potential self-fulfilling prophecies, because it's valid to think that a lot of other people have done the same thing. So it's really as straightforward as that. Good movement today. Good job holding that $64 mark, but let's see if the price can indeed get a break up through that resistance over the next couple of days. Now we'll get to Bitcoin here in just a second, but for you stock traders out there, again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about the tool, then definitely go get signed up for the free live webinar. It'll be later this week, like I said, Thursday, May 23rd at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So go get signed up and I'll see you there. And now let's talk some Bitcoin. One quick clarification here. We are no longer looking at the 30-minute time frame. We are looking at the 4-hour time frame. So each of these represents 4 hours. And I like to do this time frame because Bitcoin is open 24/7. So I want to make this relevant for as long as possible. And yes, needless to say, very recently things have gotten nice and spicy for Bitcoin. Look at that 4-hour candle right there. Huge explosion up through these levels. So I'm going to do a lot of house cleaning here. Just get rid of these lines because they've all served their purpose. And this brings about question number one that you're going to want to ask yourself. So for example's sake, let's just say you're watching this video 20 hours after I get it uploaded. Question number one, where is the price at relative to $68,000? This level of resistance has been broken. So ideally, you want to see that act as support. So if you're answering that question that the price is still above $68,000, then worst case scenario, you have something that looks like this where the price is down around here. But your worst case scenario would be, okay, all you have is a bull flag pattern. So like I said, if you're answering it's above 68, worst case is still a bull flag pattern. Now, if you're saying, well, no, Clay, the price is still up above it, well, how far up above it? And at that point, it becomes very straightforward. The further up above 68,000 it is, the better things have become. So if you're saying, well, the price is actually way up there, well, that just means this breakout has picked up that much more momentum. So very simplistic in that standpoint. Now, if you're saying, well, actually, Clay, no, the price is down below 68,000, next immediate question would be, okay, well, where's the price at relative to the 50-period simple moving average? And my guess is that you're going to be answering the price is still above that level. If you're not, the next question would be, okay, well, where's the price relative to the 200-period moving average? And if you're answering the question that the price is down below there, just know that something has gone wrong for Bitcoin, because that would imply a huge pullback from where it is right now. So I highly doubt you're answering that question. But like I said, to me, Bitcoin is in such a good spot right now as I speak, because even if the price were to come down here, like I said, you still have that bull flag pattern. But needless to say, big boom breakout for Bitcoin. So the question, from my vantage point right now is just how big of a breakout is it? Now, you're going to have a much better idea if you're watching this 15, 20 hours from now, because if this thing's up over 75,000, you're going to say, well, yeah, Clay, this was actually just the beginning of something much bigger. But we'll have to see what happens. And like I said, depending on when you watch this, by asking yourself those questions, that'll keep you informed, in terms of the current situation. And as I invited the stock traders, I'm inviting you as a Bitcoin and crypto trader, because what you learn about in the class here can and definitely should be used within your trading also. So like I said, go get signed up. It'll be later this week, Thursday, May 23rd at 7 p.m. Eastern time. It's totally live. There will be a live question and answer. So bring your questions and it'll be a great time. So go get signed up for that. If you enjoyed these top 10 videos, hit that like button, leave a comment below. If you have a request for a ticker symbol, let me know down in the comment section and I'll do my best to get to it. But yeah, go get signed up for that free class.